Welcome, Squires, to Three Musketeer Gamers, and in today's At a Glance we are looking at Way of the Samurai 4. Now, this was an unusual pick for me as it's my most recently acquired game, at least assuming so, unless I get another one before this goes up. This game I chose because it is very different, and I don't know how much recognition the Way of the Samurai games get anymore. I'm a big sucker for good swordplay games. This, and one I will probably do a video on at some point, Bushido, Kengo, Master of Bushido, are two of my favourites. I played Way of the Samurai 2, which is the only one trendy looking. I'm wearing a multicoloured bathrobe and you think I'm trendy looking. Kiss us! No. This game is highly satisfying because it's got a rather nice and deep combat system without it being too complicated to pick up. So, with the basics, L1 to draw your sword. Now, on this game, you can draw that anywhere, even in mid-conversation sometimes, which can make for some interesting situations. You can go to any part of a fairly decent sized map. See, this is indicating that I can go to the main plaza from here. If I have a look at the map, that is the main map, and that's the map of the area I'm in at the moment and where I can get to. So it's a reasonably sized map. It's not the largest in the world, but it doesn't really need to be. The game is full of options and vibrant characters. It's actually one of the few games where the fact that it's all completely in Japanese with just subtitles doesn't actually bother me. In this instance, I think it actually adds something to the game. Now, the big thing with this game is choice. You can speak to pretty much any of these people, thief takers, who are essentially the police in this town. This game is set in Japan during the period when it was just considering opening its borders and was just getting involved with the British Empire. I don't know how much, if any, accuracy there is in this game, but there's a lot of racial tension in the game, there's a lot of complicated feelings, and there's a lot of just random events kicking off. You often see the thief takers trying to apprehend people, and in this game you can of course talk to anyone, but if you try and talk to someone with your sword drawn, you scare the shit out of them. It's a great deal of fun, it really is. Again, all throughout the area you'll find quests, random favours which will range from beat someone up to find me something here in this town. There's a section here called Little Britain. Britain! Which I always find funny because you always get little places called Chinatown or Little Tokyo. And here it's kind of spun on its head. I've never actually been to this section of the map because I normally spend most of my time in the other areas. You've got your merchants who tend to sell things. Wow! Some of them, granted, will just laugh at you, and if they do, then you just get your sword out and then you make them hit themselves. The game is serious when it needs to be and hilarious when it wants to be, and it does like to have a laugh at itself. Okay, so here we've got one of the British royal captains in charge of the British ambassador. And I've just drawn my sword out in mid-conversation here, so now she suspects that I am a spy or a traitor. But let's point out, you can spout small bits of dialogue in the middle of fights, which I think is quite a nice touch. Now, this is a bit more, the combat system is oh, Jesus, I'm getting butt handed to me here. There's a rather good, and there, I got to see, the game is brutal, I will point that out. See, I took on someone who is significantly stronger than me there and died for it. The game is brutal on normal mode. I've not tried the easy mode, but it does not baby you. If you take on someone who is heavily armoured, who is high ranked, and you're not strong enough, or you've not got a strong enough weapon or enough skills, you will suffer for it. Now, what I will say is an interesting feature of this game is, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it the reincarnation system. Which basically is that every time you die, you can either retry and pick up from where you left off, which is where most of the gameplayers would come in, or you can end that character's life there, and that will be the end of your character's story. And then the next character you create will start the game again, and we'll go on we'll have a completely different journey, because of all the choices you can make in this game, no two playthroughs are identical. Even if you take similar paths and meet similar people, the decisions you make lead to very different outcomes, you know, and it's up to you whether you want to be a criminal, whether you want to build a dojo. Apparently it's possible on here. I've never done that as of yet. If you want to build a dojo, that's an option. If you want to become a master sword fighter at the tournament, then that's an option, because there's a tournament that gets held. If you want to just assassinate all the politicians, which that's going to be my goal for one of these. Well, here's the shop mechanic. You can buy various things. The minute I've got 1,000, I'm assuming it's yen. Yen, Japanese or Chinese, I'm never sure. But you can get a cloth wrap just as an accessory. I will point out, this is the starting outfit. You cannot change this. The customization is very limited at the start. This game rewards you with customization, so you have to earn the more complicated stuff, the better looking robes, and the better weapons, which you can find or buy. And then once you've found or bought them or unlocked them, you'll then be able to use them for other players, like other players you create. So essentially, every character you create, you can, when they die, you can just sort of reincarnate them into someone else entirely. The funny thing is, I've heard that, there we go, I've actually threatened someone here, so now of course they have to die. I've read somewhere that apparently you can actually, on your travels, encounter versions of yourself. So I can just pick up his sword now, and then if I want to, I can use that sword, which might have to be an option for me soon, because as you can tell by the flashing redness in the corner there, my sword is almost broken. There is a weapon damage system. Your sword can break if you don't keep it in shape at a blacksmith or repair it when it does break. Then you're going to be up the creek without a paddle, because fighting with a broken sword in this is useless, less than useless. You're literally better off using your hand. I believe there's a way to search the body. There we go. Yes, you can just threaten people, go up to them and say, I'm going to kill you now, and they'll start fighting you. If the thief takers catch you assaulting someone without cause, they will come after you. There are restaurants, which is quite a nice touch because you've got 2 meters there on the side on the HUD display. One being the green one, which is your health, and the other one being your vitality, which the higher your vitality is, the easier it is for you to regenerate your health. So if I go here, and this is basically a restaurant, so I'm going to order a bowl of veal, and then nom 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 nom. And then you can actually choose not to pay, which is why each of these places has a bodyguard whose job it is to basically force you to pay. So if I eat another real bowl now, and I'm going to not pay for this one, and just see what happens, because that's something else I've never done, is I've never not paid for a meal. So I will refuse to pay. And now the bodyguard wants a piece of it. Oh, he's doing quite well. Oh, jeez. And as we can see by the fact that my sword swings are doing absolutely bugger all to him, he is considerably stronger than me. Now, this is a game that rewards skill, because if I was good enough, which at this game I am not as of yet, if I was good enough, then the fact that he is significantly stronger than me wouldn't matter quite as much, because I would be able to basically outmatch him, which I'm not doing bad at that. I'm down to half health. I'm feeling quite pleased with myself at this point. Oh god. Oh, and there we go. So he gets me again. The game is brutal. You're better off, at least for the beginning of the game, trying to find either some missions, which usually the enemies in the missions are a bit more forgiving, or just finding some thugs on the street that you want to kill. Because trying to take on the heavily armoured enemies, or trying to take on the people who are deliberately paid to protect people, makes the game a bit too challenging. I'm playing this on normal. Again, I don't know what the easy mode's like. It might be significantly easier. But I played Way of the Samurai 2, and it was nowhere near as good as this. It was a lot shorter. I will say the playthroughs of these games are supposed to be very, very short, roughly about 4, maybe 5 hours a pop. But the game encourages replayability. So it encourages you to play it again and again to see what choices and endings you can get. There is the blacksmith. From whom you can have your weapon appraised, recast. So when your weapon starts building up some of its own fame, his fingers are glitching through his biceps. Your weapon builds up fame based on how many people you killed with it and how well you keep it, which means that when you appraise it, you can find out how valuable it is and assign a special seal or logo or something to it to make it more valuable. Refine and recast are ways of improving your sword, and extract is a way of melting down your weapon to get the iron in order to make other weapons. And create is for if you've already got several sword pieces that you want to create with. And so for instance here you've got different blade types. I will say the game is fantastic for its sheer level of customization. So we've got here Flesh Spelunker Break Right. Gives you an idea of what the charms attached to them represent the dark sword charm, for instance, there on the laundry pole means the blade will be stronger at night. Life and death means, I believe, that you will drain some health when you attack your enemies. And again, there's spears in this game. You can use all manner of swords, spears, claymores. You can even just use your hands if you wish. You can actually, in point of fact, so here we go. This is where he tells me that he's going to be closing up soon. And that he needs a successor. And I'm just asking, and then he's going to tell me about a student of his that he wanted to inherit the place but no longer wants to take part in it. So now I've got to find him and try and convince him. So if I go to the map, he's not in this area. Now you can actually fast travel to any of these points. As I don't know where he is as of yet. Find him. So sometimes it will give you the location, sometimes it won't, sometimes you'll have to hunt people down. These are all the blades I've collected from my various enemies. You can carry 3 weapons on you, and then in addition to that, you'll have your weapon sack, which will have other weapons. So this is a rather powerful one called Last Rites, which I'm going to exchange for my Basil Blade, which is destroyed. So now I've got a brand new weapon, far stronger, and I'm ready for this game, as I said, is hilarious. I can, for instance, attempt to chat up any of the women that happen to pass by through some rather hilarious and stupid dialogue prompts. And if I'm successful, I can then try to sneak into their houses to have a bit of nighttime fun with them. You do have to sneak into their houses because their relatives don't like you creeping around their house. Quite hilarious. It's a rather funny little mini game, quite frankly. And again, it's one of those, if you just want to be a creeper chasing women throughout the town, you can do that as well if that's how you're going. Supposedly there's supposed to be an old man outside this dojo somewhere who you can speak to about setting up your own. Still, never been able to find him. I don't know if he's only available in the evening. There is day and night cycles in this game, and time basically transitions whenever you exit one area and go into another. Found a little onigiri there. I don't know if that's basically a rice ball. I don't know much about Japanese culture, so again, I don't know how authentic this game is for the time period it's meant to be set in, and how much of it is just creative license being taken. Well, the game is lovely to look at. It's a beautiful game, and when you get some of the more inventive looking outfits, it's a lot of fun. Creating your own swords, bringing together an outfit. I mean, there is a cutscene I've encountered in this game where basically the governor of the entire town shows up, a big procession, and I basically have the option of shouting to him in the middle of his speech, because the game has interrupting options in the dialogue. You have the option to interrupt him and just basically say, you know, go home, you fat bastard. And obviously, people get very pissed off at you for that. And if you thought I died quickly when I tried to take on that English captain, then, well, you should have seen me try to fight the Imperial Guard. That was quite fun. So here we have the clothing store. It's a good deal of fun. He comes rushing in to greet you. So you can have a look. It gives you a little preview of what you're actually buying. Oddly enough, not all of these outfits come with pants attached. Sometimes you have to buy the pants separately. I can find a pair of bottoms in the shop. There we go, some kimono bottoms. Red. There we go. Basically now, I use all my funds to get hold of the red kimono bottoms. So now I am just a shirtless samurai in what essentially amounts to a red towel. During each of your life cycles as each of the characters, the game judges you based on how samurai-like it believes you've been, how much honor you've acted with. See, all I did was draw my sword in front of that thief station. There Takers are usually spotted via the blue coast. There's a hook function. And I also acquired a sword fighting style there. And again, the game is not sexist, you can entirely go after the women running around as well, there's no limit to who you can target. What is interesting is this system. Like again, I can make myself completely unarmed and I can punch that woman in the face. A martial arts match now. There's, as you can imagine, there's the typical heavy attack, light attack kind of thing. Away before I leave a pile of corpses. But the good thing about this combat is it's got what's called a push and pull system. So depending on what direction you're moving in when you perform an action, heavily indicates what you'll do. And also, what I did there, you'll notice I turned reverse mode on, which reverses my sword. Now, my understanding of this basically is, oh look at that, he does actually hold it the other way. I'd never noticed that before. Essentially, by reversing your style, you hit people with the blunt end of your sword, so you can challenge them to duels without actually having to hurt them. Essentially, instead of his health, his stamina is what goes down. Oh god. Okay, so when you lose to a thief takeoff, you get arrested. And you don't even have to lose all your health, they just have to be able to knock you down. This is where the game gets a little weird. And again, I'm assuming this is not accurate, but there are some very odd punishments you incur for getting arrested. This one being the Hell Horse, where you are essentially beaten while being hung over a very unpleasant looking device. You have to try and hold yourself up above it without touching the top, because then you immediately fall. Oh, and then you have to brace yourself when she does that, because otherwise she'll knock you down. And it's a very painful way to die. Oh, I am not going to do this. You have to last for about a full minute, I think it is. Yeah, I fully braced myself that time. Yes, this is definitely an Oh Japan moment. Oh, and there it is. There it is. These punishments are actually fake. Apparently, if you're not careful. And again, after each time you die, you get a samurai evaluation. And a ranking on your behaviour. So, if you want to get a good rating, you do have to behave very much like a samurai. Okay, so to wrap up this video, I'm going to try and do an actual mission. So let's go back to Little Britain and speak to the young English ambassador whose life I saved in the tutorial mission. I didn't show the tutorial mission for this, just because it would have taken us Where is Little Britain from here? I may just fast travel. It does consume some of your vitality to fast travel on this game, so the game does actively dissuade you from it. Here she is. You can hear all the dialogue is in Japanese, even for the English characters, which is an interesting twist. She's going to show me in to see the ambassador now. I think I'm a little underdressed for meeting politicians.
会えて嬉しいよ。
ようこそお越しくださいました。あなたのこと待っていたのですよ。私は英国公使として日本と英国の友好関係。
So this is the interruption system again. So while she's speaking, I can just interrupt to say something.
そうですか？ありがとうございます。日本へ来る前に猛勉強した甲斐がありました。交流を深めることがお互いの利益になり、ひいては日本の発展に寄与すると信じております。
The silent protagonist if you wish. There's also a fast forward button You don't miss the cutscenes, but they fast forward for you.
僕たちの味方につくことは君にとっても損のない話だよ。なんせイギリスは
You do have the option to skip with the select button.
博打で言うなら鉄板の大本命ってやつさ。
What is the land where the sun never sets? I have never
どうだい？
どうでしょう。
Meeting her at the front of the consulate. I have no idea where I get out because I have no idea how I stayed in. Bye!
それでは。
Imagine the rest of that mission won't become active until the evening rolls around. Because this game does do that, the game does make a point of if you not do all our traveling time or move more slowly, and certain missions can only be either obtained or completed at certain times of the day.
Okay.
Poor maiden there just lost the parasol. I'm just being a maniac here. See. Now here's an interesting thing. The Royal Marines have guns. There are guns on this game, and you can use them, as far as I'm aware. I've never tried yet. I might try that next time I have to kill this guy and steal his gun. There we go. Oh, I can't equip them yet, see, so you have to learn the style on how you use guns in order to... Hey! Oh, I just got run over by a train? No, by a horse and carriage. Oh, I'm bleeding internally. Last thing here is Spring Harvest, as it's called, wherein you basically go into a Matrix style super mode, and then to death and falls. Basically the idea behind that is to take on groups of enemies with it, and then once you kill the entire group, you sheathe your sword and they all just collapse, just like in the movie. But yes, that's Way of the Samurai. I've talked more about it than I've shown, which is a pity. I probably should have planned this a little better. But I wanted to show it off because it's unusual, it's interesting, and you get as much out of it as you put into it. I would think. And I would recommend it to anyone who likes a good swordplay game. Because there's not enough of them. So that was Way of the Samurai, and from myself here at 3 Musketeer Gamers, I will bid you farewell.